Hello, everybody. Hello, Team Transformed and everyone else. God bless you. The Lord loves you. And we got a great thing that we're going to do today. And I want you to please stand by and please listen. It's transforming. It's transforming. My name is Pastor Mark McCoy. And let's get transformed. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about when I was asked to speak at Roger Mayweathers' funeral as a pastor. I'm going to talk about that in the actual podcast today, so please listen to the interview. Secondly, we're going to be talking about John 15, how God allows things to happen, the pruning and cutting. John 15 talks about the cutting back of branches and what God does to make us stronger, to make us grow and develop. We're going to be talking about that. Special interview, we're also going to be talking about when the Bible says in John 10:30 that I and my Father are one. Okay? So we're going to go from I and my Father are one to in Mark 13:32. It clearly says that no man knows the day or the hour. Jesus says, not even I know when Christ return, when the return of Christ will be. So that's the other thing we're going to be talking about. All three of those things action-packed, coming live and direct in the brand new Transform Unplugged interview with Pastor Chuck Singleton. Right now I'm reporting live from Transform Boxing Gym. You see it's very empty, but so we're going to be just stay tuned to the interview. I'm going to post the actual YouTube. Please go on YouTube and watch this interview. It's pretty cool. All right. God bless you. And let's be transformed. Transform Unplugged. Let's go. In unity with Him. We were only born for one reason, and that reason is to do what He called us to do. We all have an assignment. I don't care if you see somebody homeless, or you see somebody doing the same thing every single day, no matter what, hustling, robbing, stealing, killing, gangbanging. Those people all have a purpose, but we all have 100% choice. We have free will and we have choice. We can do what we want to do. We can literally do what we want to do, but there's going to be some repercussions. There's going to be some reactions. There's going to be some fruit that comes from what we're doing at the end of the day. So we got to be careful to not do what we're not supposed to do. We got to walk with Christ so we can be in alignment with Christ, and so we can get to our assignment. How is He going to bless you to go to the next level when you're rocking with the next devil? How is He going to bless you to go higher when you keep doing your own thing? At the end of the day, you got to do what God has called you to do. And until you make the decision to do that, things will not go well with you. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but at the same time, are you going to continue? Are you going to continue in sin? Are you going to continue every single day and just say, well, God knows my heart? Yes, He knows your heart. He says your heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. So let's not use that. Let's not use that. You know what I'm saying? Some people use that as their driver's license to go do the do. So real quick, I just want to get in. I'm going to be making a call to Pastor Chuck Singleton, Loveland Church. He's a renowned man who knows a lot of people in politics. He actually knows President Obama. He knows a lot of different people in the entertainment world. He's an incredible man. He has 3 PhDs, and he's an amazing person. I'm going to be bringing him in on a phone call because I want to talk about, let's say you have Brother Larry, right? And let's say Brother Larry has the whole church praying for him for something that he's going through, something that he's dealing with, something that's crazy, something that is it could be a huge health condition. It could be cancer. It could be, there's no telling what it might be. But what happens when he has the whole church praying for him? The entire church, the entire congregation. He has people from West Angeles and AME and people in Mississippi and Georgia and Tennessee praying for him. They're all praying for him, but for something that God actually caused, something God allowed to happen, something God did as the cutting or pruning, something God has done we're going to pray for something that God has allowed. That's what I want to talk about today. And I want you guys to post your questions as far as, what do you think about that? What do you think about when we're praying about something that God allowed, something that God created, God put onto us for us to go through? If he put it on us for us to go through it, but we're continuously praying, how does that... we're asking the same God that gave it to us to take it away from us. So sometimes can we differentiate between what God has caused, or God allowed to happen to us? Or sometimes it's just all the way, it could be all the way us. Like, what if I continue to smoke every single day and smoke every single day, just doing it, getting it in, right? And then I got some issues with my lungs. To me, I caused that one. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to ask the theologian, the apologist, the man, the pastor, the wonderful man of God, this question. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buzz him in. And we're going to let him run tell that. Hello, Pastor. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, to be honest with you, I had a long day, Pastor Chuck.
It's a good sign. Yeah. With all of everything locked down, it's a good sign to have a long day.
Yeah, had a long day. I'll share with you later. But I was going to say, as far as how I'm doing, I'm either outstanding or standing out, depending on my mood. All right. So once again, I already gave you a formal introduction. I wanted to introduce you and present to others, introduce to some. So anyway, I just let everyone know that you are, an amazing man, an amazing husband, amazing father, and a wonderful shepherd, wonderful pastor of the one and only Loveland Church. But I'm going to bring Pastor Chuck in on a phone call, and we're going to ask the theologian, the apologist, the man, the pastor, the wonderful man of God, this question. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buzz him in. And we're going to let him run tell that. Hello, Pastor. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, to be honest with you, I had a long day, Pastor Chuck.
That's a good sign. Yeah. With all of everything locked down, it's a good sign to have a long day.
Yeah, had a long day. I'll share with you later. But I was going to say, as far as how I'm doing, I'm either outstanding or standing out, depending on my mood.
I love it.
All right. So once again, I already gave you a formal introduction. I wanted to introduce you and present to others, introduce to some. So anyway, I just let everyone know that you are, an amazing man, an amazing husband, amazing father, and a wonderful shepherd, wonderful pastor of the one and only Loveland Church in Fontana, California.
Oh my goodness! Yes, I'm glad I didn't have to hear that.
and all the
gravy for such a small potato.
and not to mention all the other and this is including all the campuses and all the shepherds that you have put in place for the various campuses of Loveland Church. So yeah, thank you. And once again, I called on you, even though I did my preparation. I called on you because I was going to preach at the funeral for Roger Mayweather, and I just want to thank you once again for giving me the what do you call it, the trick book.
Well, hey, and I thankfully got a chance to review what you did. I commend you. You did a good job. Impressed, and first that being able, your boldness to be able to handle such a high target situation, that was commendable. So you did a good job.
Hey, Pastor Chuck, thank you so much. I'm going to tell you though, I was yikes. The only reason that I'll say I was ready was because of the power of the Holy Spirit. Because to be honest with you, it was rough. It was rough just to making sure that I could say the right words at the right time for the right reasons. That's really what I wanted to. I was just, I wanted to put my punches together, if you know what I will.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the rest. I mean, there's another reason why some things kind of went a little bit left. We had what you would call I'll call it a wardrobe malfunction. And there was a couple of misunderstandings on my end with Big Floyd Senior. So it worked out. So it just kind of threw me off in the very beginning, but at the end, kaboom, it worked out. So I hadn't had a chance to tell you how that went, but now you know. All right, but thank you once again. But spending time, Pastor Chuck, I want to ask you one question right before I ask you the next question, and I do want to know, and me and you have talked a little bit about this before, but how does someone I know you've had your messages where you were in front of Smokey Robinson and all those people in the entertainment world, or you were speaking in front of a gigantic crowd. I know all messages, you got your home, what do they call it? The home court advantage. When you're at home,
Right.
And then you have your messages when you're not at home. It's just kind of like a different feel there. So how do you go about preparing when you want to be more prepared? And how long do you prepare? And just kind of give me the gist of it.
Well, to prepare, I'll say it like this. For me, it's kind of a weird place because I am so much comfortable in controversial places and in controversial settings. I've debated across the world. I was about to say the nation, but really across the world. Sometimes on things related to the Bible, and not the least of which is the popular 3.5-hour slugfest with Khalid Muhammad that's been playing on YouTube for the last 12 years or so.
I saw it.
But I'm very comfortable out there, and sometimes more comfortable with that than preaching in the pastoral ministry, which would be my home court. But the preparation is a matter that begins with prayer. That you talk to God about people, and then you talk to people about God. It just works that way. That prayer is the key to all of it, and big time. But it doesn't take 30 hours of prayer. You start there, and of course you study. trust that the Word of God speaks for itself. And if you trust that, then you're not quite as nervous. It's kind of like what I've seen you do with 2 funerals. This last one we talked about just a minute ago with Mayweather, and I saw you do that with your father's funeral. That when you relaxed and you just trusted God's word, and God's word did the talking. That's the key to it. Now you do the research, you prepare your heart, you get some information, and you organize the message that you're going to speak. You know, I like to use 3 points. Sometimes it turns out 4, sometimes 2, and in rare occasions I might not have a single quote unquote subpoint. But it pays to just outline what you're going to say. To get a thesis, here's what, if I said this in 1 paragraph, here's what it sounds like. If I can do that, then it begins to unfold from there.
I heard a man once say, tell him what you're going to tell him. Then tell him what you told him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's pretty good, because it's almost like a highlight. You give him a snippet, a little teaser, and then after that you know, and then you give him, then you go into it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end you basically you sand out everything, go over it one more quick time.
Well put. You sand out everything. The advantage to doing it that way are twofold. One, it helps the people that you're talking to. So what is he talking about? What is he going to say? And if you start way off in the weeds and they don't know what you're talking about, and then you finally get around to your point, and then you hope they understood. Well, human mind doesn't work that way. So telling them what you're going to tell them is good for those you're talking to. Secondly, it's good for the speaker to know that I'm going to tell them what I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them, and then I'm going to tell them what I told them. And that's just the way a thesis is what we call it, and you start off right there.
Perfect. Now, this is the question. I hate to be saying, I gotta stop doing that. But when a man, I remember you spoke a message one time, and you were saying how the brothers trying to get everyone to pray. Pastor Chuck, you pray, and Pastor McCoy, you pray, and I'm gonna get John Hagee to pray for me. I'm gonna get First AME to pray. I'm gonna get this person, that person, to pray. But of course, they need to be praying themselves and working out their own salvation. You know what I mean? Working out their own faith, and that's just the snippet of what I wanted, the question. But the other part is, what happens when we are praying to get healed, or we're praying to be delivered or untied from the situation, the very situation that God actually allowed or caused to happen? As he chastens the ones he loves, right? He chastens the ones he loves, and of course he prunes and he cuts. He prunes and he cuts because it is for growth and development in us, because we are to be walking in our assignment. We are not here to do what we will and not here to do what we feel like doing, but we're here to do God's will. So since we're here to do God's will, he does have to do some cutting sometimes and some pruning sometimes, and it says he chastens the ones that he loves, right? So and we are as illegitimate children if he doesn't chasten or chastise. But what happens when we are banging on the doors, rattling the gates of heaven, praying uncontrollably, praying without ceasing about something that God actually caused to happen in our life?
Boy, that's a deep question, and I love the way you put it together. Probably most people would want to deal with that question and ask, what happens? I know that I'm getting spanked, because I did what I did, and so how can I pray for God to relieve something that he allowed to happen to me because of my foolishness? Man, that's a deep one. But Mark, my mind turns to something about prayer that I think most people don't realize. We think about prayer, we think about grandmothers, we think about weak folks praying. In fact, Ted Turner once said that about his wife, Jane Fonda. and other Christians when he said that weak people are Christians and weak people pray, because he misunderstood it. Look, prayer is serious. Prayer is real manhood. In fact, Luke chapter 18, verse 1, Jesus himself put it this way. He said, men ought to pray and not faint. I mean, so the option is clear right there. Either you're powerful praying, or you're a chump and faint. So that's how deep, that's how serious prayer is. But what's interesting about it, Mark, in that Luke chapter 18 passage, what happens is right after he says that in verse 1, he then starts telling a story about a widow. So he goes from talking about real men to a widow.
Wow.
Probably at that time, at least the weakest kind of woman. But in the process of talking about it, he said something so profound. She was going to a judge trying to get him to avenge her because she'd been abused and mistreated by someone. And he didn't answer. And she went back again. He didn't answer. She kept going back, and he wouldn't hear her. And finally, he said, you know what? Give that woman what she wants, because I'm tired of her coming back. She keeps coming back. She is so persistent.
Right.
And then Jesus uses that story to illustrate prayer. And he tells us that's how we ought to pray. So when a believer is praying, you keep coming back. If you don't get what you want, keep coming back. And I think there are two reasons why sometimes you keep coming back to God. One is this, that it demonstrates where your heart is. If God allowed it to come upon you, it's because he wanted to change you. And if you keep coming back, well, you must be changing. You must be changing. And the second reason is because now this might open up a whole new conversation, but God can change the direction or his plans. He can change, I'll put it this way, he can change his mind. And of course, he did that with Moses in the Old Testament when he said he's going to do something, and Moses prayed, and God said, okay, well, I won't do that then. So there are times when it appears that God can change his mind. And you think about prayer, that shouldn't be real weird for us to hear, because one of the words for prayer, I've heard you say it, is intercession. So we're someone standing in between and interceding and saying, would you please do this? Would you please do this? So
are you just real quick, are you referring to when Moses pleaded on behalf of the children of Israel, and God was like, all right, that's it, and Moses said, please hold on, wait, Lord, wait.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead. I didn't want to stop you, but go ahead.
No, it's all right, stop.
Okay, so real quick, you mentioned they keep coming back. My thing is, what if they want to pray and get fixed and healed up before the lesson is learned, before the growth takes place, before the transformation, and they want to get healed now? But God said, wait a minute, you're sad. You know, you're going through these emotions. And okay, let's say you're facing jail time, or you're in jail and you pray and you get out, you know. But but you haven't learned your lesson, but you still want the healing. If you can just touch that real quick, I think we'll be done.
Well, I think, Marcus, that God will, even when, quote unquote, we think that he hasn't learned his lesson. A person who persists in prayer has learned the most important lesson. I mean, that's the most important thing. And if you take, for example, I'll give you another example in Luke chapter 11, when Jesus again is talking about prayer, and he says something really strange. Most of us have heard it, but it's strange. Here's what he said. And this is right after he explained the model prayer, or what we call the Lord's Prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, and hallowed be thy name. Well, right after that, he talked about a guy coming and knocking at midnight, and again, persistent It's midnight. His friend, and he knocks on the door, is asleep. And the guy tells him, man, I ain't coming. I ain't getting up this time of night. He said, no, you got to get up. I need some food for another person. And he kept knocking. What he was doing was interceding. And finally, the guy got up in the middle of the night and gave him what he asked for. What did Jesus just teach us? He taught us, be persistent in prayer. Even when you maybe think you're inconveniencing the person you're coming to. All right, now, but then right behind that, he then said, ask and seek and knock.
Ask, seek, and knock, right.
You're right, and it's written, and I think you may have heard me talk about this before, but it's written in the imperfect language. The verb tense is imperfect, which means this, that when you read that in the original language of the New Testament, it's not just ask, but literally it would be ask and keep on asking. And it'd be seek and keep on seeking, or knock and keep on knocking. So persistence, prayer, God loves persistence. And even the Master himself, when you read him in Matthew chapter 26, I believe it's somewhere around verse 44, when he was about to go to the cross, and the Bible says that Jesus prayed the same prayer using the same words 3 times. So even the Son of God, who's God in the flesh, prays the same prayer and is persistent in continuing in his prayer. So persistence is something that God likes in prayer, that God encourages us to do in our prayer life. So ask, keep on asking, seek, keep on seeking, knock, keep on knocking. It is exactly the principle of prayer.
Got it. Okay. Now, so we're gonna wrap this up. Now, next week I have a question for you, if you don't mind. But I know that he says, I and my Father are one in the Bible. And he also says that even he himself doesn't know the day of the actual rapture, the return. Correct?
That's correct.
So that means that God is still a separate entity and a direct connected entity, or the same person at the same time, but God is still his Father, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so a little bit about God, I wonder, like, what was happening before. So I guess it was just, God and Jesus doing their thing in the heavenlies. I just kind of wonder a little bit about that.
Maybe we can work it out for next week and come back and talk about that.
Yeah.
It's a thing that for, I'll say, centuries has been a point of curiosity and investigation and study for those who love the Lord Jesus. But what you just quoted from Mark chapter 13, verse 32, when they ask him, when is the end time going to come? And that's also, that story is told in Matthew 24 as well. And Jesus, when he answered that, powerfully answered that, they said, when is the end? I mean, just like this coronavirus and all the stuff that's going on, I've had, I don't know how many, many questions. Is this the end of the world? Is the rapture going to come? And I said, I have an answer I'm proud to give you. My answer is, I don't know. And here's why I'm proud to give it, because even Jesus said, the angels don't know, nor does the Son know.
Right.
This is something the Father's kept for himself. So how does the Father separate from the Son? There are 2 possible answers, Mark, real quickly. One is that it may be that he deliberately separated himself from certain knowledge while he was on the earth. And that could be it. And then secondly, in order to operate as a man, because how can he be an example, a model for us with all knowledge in his head and all power in his hands, But he put away, we know he put away the power because it was after he rose from the grave on Easter Sunday, Resurrection Day. After he got up, then he said, all power in heaven and earth is in my hands. So did he set aside in some way all power and set aside in some way all knowledge while he walked the face of the earth? I kind of think that's probably the way we would explain it. But
Okay.
we'll talk about it. when that time comes.
We'll dig into that. Okay, so yeah, we'll make sure we definitely get into that next week. Pastor Chuck, once again, I want to thank you for being there for me. You've always been there for me, especially in some of the craziest times of my life. So we're gonna talk about some of those things as part of the testimony side.
Sure.
Maybe on the next one.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But I thank God for you too, Mark. So I look forward to talking with you later.
All right. Well, God bless you.
God
And
bless
when
you
and
your family.
and one of these days, I might want to let everybody know about the Fusions family. All right, Pastor. That's an inside joke. I'll see you soon.
All right.